It happened at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Route 29 North, just outside Charlottesville, Virginia. Brigadier General Dr. Maya Thornton was driving her black Mercedes sedan. She was exhausted, returning from Walter Reed Medical Center after a 6-hour emergency surgery on a Marine. Her navy scrubs were visible under her jacket. Flashing red and blue lights appeared in her rearview mirror. Maya pulled over immediately, turned on her interior light, and placed both hands on the steering wheel, in textbook compliance. Two officers approached, the tall, unyielding Sergeant Pritchard, name tag visible, and the younger, nervous Deputy Henning. License and registration. Now, Pritchard's voice was flat, no courtesy. Maya slowly reached for her glove compartment, narrating every movement, and handed them over. Pritchard barely glanced at the documents before locking eyes on her. Step out of the vehicle. Officer, may I ask why I'm being pulled over? You were swerving. I wasn't swerving. Step out, now. Maya felt the familiar recognition. Officer, I'm a federal officer returning from. I didn't ask you to speak. Out of the car, she stepped out. Henning noticed her military-issue boots. Those real or knockoffs? Pritchard demanded ID. Maya pulled out 3 cards. Driver's license, military ID card with star insignia, Walter Reed Medical Center access badge with federal clearance code. Pritchard dismissed them after maybe 2 seconds. Anyone can get fake IDs off the internet. Maya maintained her calm voice. That's a federally issued Department of Defense identification card with biometric encoding. You can verify it through. Turn around, hands behind your back. Henning shifted nervously. Sarge, maybe we should. Turn around. Now. Maya turned, cold metal cuffs tightened on her wrists. Click, click, she said quietly. Here we go. What these officers didn't know was that the woman they just handcuffed had a direct line to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Pritchard went to search her vehicle. I'm gonna search the vehicle. You don't have probable cause, Maya said, still cuffed. He pulled a black case from the back seat. What's this? Medical kit. Surgical instruments. They're sterile and federally inventoried. Next, he pulled out a garment bag and unzipped it, revealing her army dress uniform. It bore 4 stars on the shoulders and 22 ribbons on the chest. What's a woman like you doing with all this military stuff? Pritchard asked. Maya's jaw tightened. I'm a brigadier general and trauma surgeon. That's my uniform. Those are my instruments. Henning urged Pritchard to call it in. Pritchard dismissed him and stood too close to Maya. You know what I think? They teach classes now. How to talk like you belong. Maya looked him in the eye. What exactly do you mean by they? Silence. The cold wind cut through her scrubs. Maya shifted her weight slightly and whispered, Authorization Thornton 7 Alpha. Code Black. Henning's head snapped toward her. Pritchard waved him off. She wasn't praying. She was activating a military emergency beacon that pinged directly to the Defense Intelligence Agency's DIA Operations Center. Her biometric data and GPS coordinates were sent. Response time for physical intervention was 12 minutes. You have about 3 minutes before your dispatch receives a priority call from a federal agency. You can apologize, remove these cuffs, and end your shift. Or you can keep going and end your career. Your choice. Pritchard laughed. Is that a threat? No. It's a timeline. Rewind for hours. Maya had completed emergency vascular surgery at Walter Reed, saving a Marine's life. She received a text from her daughter, Jasmine, a sophomore at Howard. Maya promised to pick her up from the train station. That promise kept her calm in the handcuffs. Maya grew up in Detroit. Her grandfather, a World War II veteran, told her after a Tuskegee Airmen documentary, Baby girl, you can wear the uniform if you want. But you'll have to be twice as good to get half the respect. Maya's response, then I'll be 3 times as good. She had a full scholarship to the University of Michigan. Our OTC paid for medical school, Johns Hopkins surgical residency. board certified in trauma surgery by 31. Tutor in Afghanistan, 1 in Iraq, saving 237 lives. She was promoted to Brigadier General at 43, the youngest black female general in Army Medical Corps history. She held top-secret clearance and had assisted surgery on a Supreme Court justice. Her speed dial included the Chairman of Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of Defense, and her daughter. Earlier that day, a 3-star general called her a national asset. This was the 3rd time she'd been pulled over in 18 months. Tonight, she drew a line. Pritchard's radio crackled again. Supervisor's voice. Unit 47, confirm the name of your detainee. Maya Thornton, claims to be military. Long pause. Then, Unit 47, stand by, do not move, federal response en route. 8 to 12 minutes, Pritchard's face went slack. Say again, federal response en route. Do not transport, confirm you copy. Henning's eyes went wide. Maya repeated, quietly. Timeline, 11 minutes later, 2 black SUVs appeared. 4 people emerged, 3 in dark suits, 1 Army colonel in dress uniform. A woman pulled a badge, Special Agent Carla Voss, Defense Intelligence Agency, who applied restraints to Brigadier General Thornton. The colonel, name tape read, stepped forward. General Thornton, are you injured? Maya, still cuffed, physically? No. Colonel Reed, legally? We'll see. Reed turned to Pritchard. Remove the restraints. Now! Pritchard tried to resist. Sir, I need to verify. I'm not asking. I'm giving you a lawful order. She's a general ... Remove them before this becomes a federal incident. Agent Voss added, it already is. Question is whether you make it worse. Henning moved first, hands shaking, and removed the cuffs. Agent Voss took control. We're requesting dash cam, body cam, radio logs, dispatch recordings, personnel files, training records. A 5th vehicle pulled up. Richard Castellano, a retired police officer of 26 years, stepped out holding his phone. I recorded everything. He called the stop a disgrace and confirmed Pritchard escalated without cause. Voss took his phone. We'll need a copy, Castellano replied. Already sent it to 3 people. Time-stamped, metadate intact. Agent Voss told the officers, you're both relieved of duty effective immediately pending federal investigation. Pritchard's voice broke. You can't do that. Colonel Reed, your chief is on the phone with the Attorney General right now. Trust me, you won't have a badge to worry about. Maya walked past them without a word and was escorted to the SUV. Agent Voss assured her, we'll escort you home. Your vehicle will be returned within 48 hours. Maya got in the back seat. Through the tinted window, she watched Pritchard sink onto his cruiser bumper, head in hands. She didn't feel victorious, just tired. She whispered, this country, I gave it everything. And it still didn't recognize me until I made a phone call. The next morning, the story was national. The video hit 2.3 million views. Maya called her daughter, Jasmine, who was crying. Mom, I saw the video. If they did that to you, a general, what happens to me? Maya replied, you do what I did. Stay calm, comply, survive, then fight. That's not fair. No, baby, it's not. At 2 p.m., the Pentagon released a statement. The treatment she received is unacceptable and under full federal investigation. General Hastings, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, called Maya. What do you need? I need this to never happen again. Not to me. Not to anyone. Pritchard faced Internal Affairs Captain Chen, who showed him the dash cam and his untouched Dodd scanner. Chen confronted him with data. 93 stops in 18 months, 64 involved black drivers in a county that is 12% black. Chen also revealed 6 separate stops where Pritchard used discriminatory phrases like people like you and your kind. Pritchard was suspended without pay. In the next room, Deputy Henning admitted he knew the stop was wrong but stayed silent. because he feared getting written up while on probation. He was offered a choice: resign quietly or face termination for failure to intervene. Henning chose to resign. By 8 p.m., both officers were unemployed. The trauma persisted. Jasmine confronted Mayo. "You're a general? And they still treated you like that? What happens to me? I don't have a Pentagon hotline. I'm scared, Mom, all the time." "Even being perfect isn't enough." Maya pulled her close. "When you get pulled over, you have me ... I will burn the system down to get you justice." In her journal, Maya wrote, "I did everything right. And still, none of it mattered. All they saw was my skin. If I don't use this to change something, then what was the point?" The FBI opened its investigation. Agent Chen's report was damning. Clear pattern of discriminatory policing. Ignored valid identification. Applied restraints despite full compliance. A federal grand jury convened. Maya attended in full dress uniform. They heard from Agent Chen, Colonel Reed, Richard Castellano, and 3 other black drivers Pritchard had detained. The jury deliberated 47 minutes. Pritchard was indicted on 3 federal counts: deprivation of rights under color of law, false arrest, and failure to execute lawful duties. He faced 10 years. Henning was not indicted, but his law enforcement career was over. Mayo accepted an invitation to testify before the House Armed Services Committee. At the hearing, Maya stated she believed she was stopped because, as a black woman driving through white areas, I'm statistically more likely to be stopped. She demanded change. Mandatory bias training that's actually effective. Federal standards for ID verification. Accountability beyond termination prosecution when civil rights are violated. Protection for officers who speak up. When a congressman suggested she painted all law enforcement with a broad brush, Maya stated, "Since my incident, 47 other service members came forward with similar experiences. That's not anecdotal, that's data." Her closing statement: "I'm here as a witness. The difference is, I had rank, I had resources, I had a panic button. Most don't. This isn't about bad apples. This is about examining the tree." The policy changes came fast. Federal level, the Thornton Protocol, DoD issued a new directive for verification of military personnel. Military IDs became verifiable through a national database within 60 seconds. The Military Member Emergency Verification Hotline was created, confirming identity within 5 minutes. State level Virginia. House Bill 1847 was passed, requiring probable cause before ordering drivers to exit and mandating body cameras activate before approaching vehicles. Local level, Maya's footage became mandatory viewing in Virginia police academies. Officers were given a duty to intervene. Failure to intervene is grounds for termination. The department settled with Mayo for 7 figures. She donated every cent to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. "I didn't do this for money. I did it so the next person doesn't have to." Within 3 weeks, 112 service members came forward. The change was evident. In North Carolina, a black airman named Marcus Webb got pulled over. When he presented his ID, the officer ran it through the new system. 60 seconds. Confirmed. "Thank you for your service. You're free to go." Someone replied to his social media post, "That's the Thornton Protocol." Google her. Pritchard's trial began March 22nd. The footage spoke. The jury deliberated 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was set for May. 6 months later, Maya spoke at West Point. She addressed the cadets. "To some people, the uniform won't matter. Your rank won't matter. You control how you respond." She described the stop. "I presented 3 forms of federal ID. They cuffed me anyway." A young black male cadet asked if she regretted not fighting back. Maya replied, "Fighting back doesn't always mean raising your voice. Sometimes it means staying so calm, so professional, that when truth comes out, there's no room for doubt. I fought back. I just did it smarter than they expected." A Latina cadet asked about those without her resources. That's why the Thornton Protocol exists, Maya said. So, you have a hotline. So verification happens in 60 seconds. When you call for help, help will come. That's the promise I'll spend my career keeping. Afterward, Cadet Renee Simmons, a young black female cadet, approached. She said she was pulled over last month in Georgia. The officer doubted her ID but ran it through the new system. Verified in 30 seconds, he apologized and let her go. I stayed calm because I watched your testimony. Thank you. Maya squeezed her shoulder. You handled it. I'm proud of you. They hugged. In her final journal entry, Maya wrote, "What happened to me mattered. Because I refused to let it be meaningless. Progress is how you change the world, one stop at a time. My grandfather was right. I had to be 3 times as good, but not to prove I belong, to protect the ones who come after me. That's the real mission. The system that failed Maya can fail anyone." Maya had courage to stay calm, courage to demand accountability, and courage to turn pain into policy so the next person doesn't endure the same. Maya Thornton is back at Walter Reed, saving lives, her wrists healed. As she walks into the surgical wing, a young doctor thanks her. My brothers in the Marines got pulled over in Texas. They used the verification system. 5 minutes, no drama. It is now, because of you, the doctor says. Maya walks toward the OR. She saves lives. That's who Maya Thornton really is, a healer, a soldier, a mother. A woman who refused to let one bad night define her, but also refused to let it be forgotten. She pushes through the double doors, and Maya Thornton gets back to work,